Manchester United only have one name on their list for goalkeepers. Only one goalkeeper they could be signing, and I think they need to sign a goalkeeper after that Bayindir stinker yesterday. At least someone better to challenge Onana. And Fabrizio Romano has confirmed that player. We're going to talk about Lammens and the latest on him. Aguome. Manchester United can't get Carlos Baleba. Not possible, too expensive, but they want a midfielder. Ruben Amorim has demanded a midfielder. Baleba in 2026, maybe you get him a 30 million pound midfielder to get to 2026. The biggest issue yesterday versus Arsenal was midfield and goalkeeper. We've been talking about that all summer. And there's another midfielder INEOS are looking at, INEOS are exploring, INEOS are big fans of. Will INEOS be making a move for Aguome, probably the perfect Baleba alternative? We're going to talk about the midfield. Hojlund is done at United. It was pretty much confirmed by him being dropped from the squad yesterday. Sancho to Turkey, not happening now. Sancho to Roma, not happening now. Sancho is rejecting everybody. I'm so confused. But before we talk about that, I want to quickly talk about yesterday's game and how good Matthijs de Ligt was. I was super impressed with that performance from de Ligt, and I wanted to give him a shout out. Gyökeres bullied him. Saka bullied him, was everywhere. I think that was de Ligt's best game in a Man United shirt. And I get why Gary Neville gave David Raya man of the match. Arsenal won the game. But for me, had that been a 1-1 draw, Matthijs de Ligt would have won man of the match. I thought man of the match in the first half was Mason Mount. I thought Cunha was brilliant in the second half. But I thought Matthijs de Ligt yesterday was excellent. And he deserves a shout out for that because I think he gets a bit too much criticism. You know, I have concerns around de Ligt in central centre-back in possession because Amorim keeps asking him to step up. And I don't like that tactically. But out of possession, very good player. And he proved that today. So yeah, let's talk about the goalkeeping situation because I am actually agreeing with something Samuel Luckhurst says here. United needed a new goalie this summer, not to outright replace Onana, but offer credible competition. And this is correct, this is true. We can't replace Onana unless we sell Onana because Onana is on like nearly 200k a week. We spent a lot of money on him. He's got over 30 million left on his book value. The only way we were going to bring in a new first team keeper was if we sold Onana, and the only realistic possibility of that was Saudi. Ruben Amorim would have liked a new keeper. He told Onana, you can explore your options. Onana explored his options, didn't get many, rejected Monaco, didn't get what he wanted from Saudi. He's at Manchester United. United are more than happy with Onana staying one more season because the focus this year was on attack. Now, what Manchester United want to do is they want to bring in a goalkeeper that's going to challenge Onana because the expectation is that Bayindir will leave and seek minutes before the World Cup. So they want to bring in a competitor for Onana because we've only got the funds for that. And that person could be Sen Lammens. I would keep an eye on Sen Lammens. Lammens could be a possibility if Manchester United decide to invest on a goalkeeper as he is the one they like. Not Donnarumma, not Emi Martinez. The one we like is Lammens. Donnarumma is a first-choice keeper. Emi Martinez is a first-choice keeper. Look at the wages. We can't have two goalkeepers on nearly 200 grand a week. We just can't. It's not feasible. That's just an annoying position to be in. So because of that, we're looking at someone that's going to come in under 15 million pounds, be on under 70 grand a week to come in and challenge Onana because Bayindir isn't good enough. And I got stick from a couple of you guys online yesterday because I said Bayindir worries me in goal. I'd rather see Onana. I said Bayindir makes me nervous. And someone said, but he saved a penalty last time he played Arsenal. Yes, that's the only good thing he's done in a Manchester United shirt. I'm not being harsh, but Bayindir is worse than Onana, and I've been saying this for ages. This is one of the reasons, but despite Onana being awful, I've not wanted to drop him because Bayindir makes me more nervous. And look, Bayindir, I wish you to leave Manchester United and go and have a good career and do well for Turkey in the World Cup. But we need at least a Bayindir replacement, someone that's going to challenge Onana. Because if we had prime Sergio Romero, Onana would be on the bench right now because he would have stepped up. I'm looking at Tom Eaton. I'm looking at Vitek on loan at Bristol City with 2 man of the match performances in his first 2 games. We need a better keeper, and Sen Lammens is probably the best option we've got because although, again, I have questions over his ability to claim crosses, he's a much better shot stopper than what we've currently got. He could challenge Onana. He's not going to be too expensive, and he's young. And I think we just need somebody that's going to challenge Onana. We need a better option in goal, 100%. Now, Alex Crook asked Amorim if Man United would sign a new goalkeeper this window, And Amorim said, it's hard to say what's going to happen, but I don't see it happening in an easy way. So he was basically saying it's not easy. It's not easy because it's not easy to outright replace Onana because of his wages. We tried to do that. It didn't happen. It's not easy because Bayindir hasn't left and we're sort of looking to move on Bayindir. And Bayindir's been looking because of World Cup. He wants to be a first choice keeper. It's one of those where we're looking at Lammens. It's not an easy deal to do, but Amorim's not sitting here going, I'm happy with my goalkeepers. They're both going to stay. Amorim is saying it's hard to say what's going to happen because he doesn't rate his keepers, and that is a fact. Another area Amorim doesn't rate, and he literally demanded the board to do what they can to go and sign Baleba, to go all out for Carlos Baleba, is midfield. Amorim wants more intensity, more legs, more physicality in midfield. Now, I don't think the midfield was atrocious yesterday. I don't think Casemiro was bad. I actually thought Bruno was the worst of the two. I thought Casemiro was okay. Aguame came on was atrocious. I'm looking at Maynard thinking, why didn't he come on instead of Aguame when you want to take care of the ball? Aguame with that shot with about 2 minutes to go, honestly, really. But one player that Manchester United have been linked to a little bit lately is Lucien Aguome. Now, I've been saying if you want a good Baleba alternative, Lucien Aguome physically is the guy. He's not proven, so there's a bit more of a risk. But I think for a guy that could be £20 million this summer, Lucien Aguome. Now, Sevilla midfield, Lucien Aguome is becoming a hot topic at Manchester United. A lot of sources in and around Seville are suggesting that Manchester United are exploring this move. This is the second source to say that we're looking at Lucien Aguome. And I think if you're looking at the most sensible Baleba alternative that's under 30 million, which would give us the funds to go for Baleba next year, Lucien Aguome makes sense. And I do think right now we've had that big sort of blow and being told that Baleba's not for sale. And if you're looking to spend 100 million on Baleba and you're going in for Baleba because you know we need a midfielder, that tells me that we're going to get at least an alternative to get us by this year because it's so obvious we need a midfielder. And it looks like the midfield plans are taking a big twist. We obviously got the big twist in the fact that Baleba's not available. I'm still hoping he is, but he's probably not. And maybe that is Lucien Aguome because now reports are coming out, and it's not coming out from English sources and it's not coming out from anyone tier one credible yet. But there is reports coming out in Spain that Lucien Aguome is becoming a hot topic. We're looking at him. So it's either one of two things. Spanish media guessing because we need a midfielder, we can't get Baleba, and he's the most sensible alternative on paper. Or two, it's one of those things where Spanish media link us to somebody and a few days later it gets picked up by Roman or Ornstein. And I'm hoping it's number two. Continuing on, it looks like Hojlund is just done at Manchester United. Amorim said for Hojlund, limited playing time for Hojlund if everyone is fit at United. If you don't do what's required, a teammate will take your place. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I've shown that if you deserve it, you play. So Amorim is basically saying Hojlund was completely dropped from the squad because if everyone's fit, I can't give him the minutes because he hasn't done enough in the minutes he's got. And while it's not completely Hojlund's fault, I think Hojlund joined at the wrong time. He didn't get the support. He's been thrown into an unstable environment. And I strongly believe that Hojlund can be a top striker. Amorim is correct. Hojlund's not been good enough in his chances at Manchester United. It's been 2 years. Omar Barada came in and said, look, if you have a poor first season, we'll give you one more year. If you have a poor second season, it doesn't matter. We're going to replace you. We're going to move you on. And that's the brutality of it. And this is what City would do. This is what Liverpool would do. Obviously, City and Liverpool would have brought Hojlund in when he'd be playing behind someone like Haaland, and it would have been much better for Hojlund. And he probably would have been a lot more stable and ended up being a much better player. I think a big part of it is United and lack of support around Hojlund. But look, Amorim is being brutal. Last match of pre-season, he literally said we needed a striker that game. Luckily, we brought in Sesko, even though Hojlund was on the bench, he didn't bring him on. He's being brutal. It might not be nice to Hojlund. I think Hojlund will go on to have a good career, but Amorim's right. Hojlund wasn't good enough. So now Hojlund's actually been linked to AC Milan. AC Milan are willing to do the deal. Is Hojlund going to accept that move? I think so. Andy Mitten basically said Man United should expect some late moves because some players who weren't willing to leave might realise they're not going to get the minutes and accept it's time to leave. And Hojlund, in regards to AC Milan, the AC Milan sporting director actually came out and said Hojlund's a good option for us. We're evaluating him these days, but the transfer market is unpredictable. The AC Milan sporting director even said they're looking at Rasmus Hojlund. So we thought we were finally going to be able to get rid of Jadon Sancho. AS Roma had put in a 20 million bid. Man United were willing to accept that. All we needed to hope is that Sancho would agree personal terms. A bit like Chelsea giving us a 25 million bid we accepted. And another club Sancho won't agree personal terms with. Saudi and Turkish clubs have interest and they're willing to give him the wages he wants, but he doesn't want to go there. He doesn't want to go to Roma. He doesn't want to go to Chelsea, Club World Cup champions. I don't know what Sancho wants. I am seriously confused. I tweeted this. Crazy to think it's been 2 years since Sancho put that statement out against Ten Hag saying, all I want to do is play football again with a smile on my face. Since then, he sat out 4 months rather than apologise, finally got his move to Chelsea lined up and rejected it. This is the same Chelsea he called freedom. He also turned down Saudi and Turkish clubs and now Roma. So the question is, does he actually want to play football again? Chelsea reportedly offered 200 grand a week, more than Parma, more than Casado. Roma gives him a chance to escape the English press and play in a league that suits him. Live in Rome and be a hero. It's a World Cup year too, and he should be fighting to get the best move for his career. Yes, Man United created this by putting him on 250 grand a week, but does he really think another top club is going to come in and pay him more than what Chelsea just offered? If leaving United is really freedom, why hasn't he left? I'm just confused because there's no doubt there's a good player in there. It's a World Cup year. Look at Antony and Rashford willing to take wage cuts to facilitate a move. I'm shocked he isn't doing the same, considering leaving Man United is freedom. That's my honest thoughts. I'm just confused. What do you want? And then I want to quickly touch upon Cunha and Mbumo's debut. I thought both of them were really impressive, and Mbumo particularly in the first half, Cunha particularly in the second half. I know we lost. It's annoying to lose, but I did there was a lot of positive signs, and I liked them. And I have a full match reaction that came out yesterday. Thank you for watching. Bye.